Hi everybody, this is Gavin from Calendly Enterprise. If you're watching this video, then you have asked yourself if there's a way to automate your scheduling with your clients and possibly be able to schedule over the phone or possible Zoom calls. And let me tell you, there is a way. We at Calendly Enterprise use these all the time. And so at the end of this video, you're going to know how to use both Calendly and Zoom in order to allow your clients or your potential clients or potential buyers to book their own calls through a link and be able to have those calls attached to a Zoom link at the end of this video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay guys, so before you can mess with Calendly or Zoom, you do need to create an account for each one. Now my advice is when you're going in and signing in for the first time, make sure that you use the same email for both. It'll just make it a little bit easier when you go in to actually integrate Zoom into Calendly. That way you can use Zoom for your calls when people book with you through Calendly. So make your Zoom link first. I just signed into mine, so mine's already set up. And again, both of these are set up through the free version of them. Keep in mind though, with Zoom, you may want the pro version, but starting out, just check it first before you start committing any funds to it, just to make sure that this is what you want to use, because there are other alternatives like Google Meets and as well as Teams that have virtual communication that you can utilize, and they may be a little bit cheaper, or they may be more of what you're looking for this, because Zoom does only have about 40 minutes of free use per month that you can use on a call. For us, it just didn't work out that way, so we ended up paying for the pro version, which is only $15.99 a month. And so we're set up that way, but use what works for you, because all three of the ones I've just mentioned can be integrated into Calendly. It just depends on what your preference is and what you're already using. So once you've made that Zoom account, you need to go into Calendly, start setting up. The reason why I say do Zoom first is because Calendly is actually going to, as you're signing into it for the first time, it's going to ask you all the questions to integrate Zoom, as well as make a calendar for yourself, like a work schedule. It's going to integrate that. It's going to ask you to integrate your work calendar into Calendly as well. So if you have all of your schedule already built into, say, your Outlook or your Google Calendar, it's going to ask for those. That way it can incorporate that into your schedule already when we're creating your link. So do Zoom first. If you've got a working email that has a calendar attached to it where all of your appointments are scheduled, put that in there too. That way Calendly will have all of that before we build this scheduling link. And don't worry, it walks you straight through everything. The first time you start logging in, it's going to ask you all these questions about integrating these and adding these, so it'll make it super easy for you guys. Now, if you've already set all that stuff up, or you already have it all ready to go, then let's get right into creating your first link for scheduling. Now, when you first sign in, there is probably going to be a made up one that's already there for you. It's kind of like an example. You can just go in and delete that one. There's a 3-dot option at the top of it, which has also got the cog gear for settings. You can go in there and click delete. But for this, I've already deleted mine, so we're gonna go right into it. So in order to start, we're gonna hit new event type. And what we're gonna select is the one-on-one. You can do the other two. Typically we do one-on-one because typically our calls are gonna be with one person, but you can still, on the one-on-one, you can still invite more than one person to it. So just keep that in mind. So now that we're here, we can give it a name. We're gonna call this a discovery call, just because it's typically what we call our first meetings. You can call it whatever you like. That's just an example for us, but this is discovery call. Duration, how long do we want the meeting to go? We're gonna make it for 45 minutes. Location. So this is really where you're gonna figure out, okay, where is this meeting gonna take place? Is it gonna be on Zoom, phone call, or in person? There's other options. So you can see again where I talk about Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, there's other options as well. It just depends on what you're using. And Calendly will ask you about these up front if you want to connect these before you go any further. So my advice is, if you're signing in for the first time, get these connected. If you're not yet connected with these and you haven't set them up, over on this left-hand side, there is integrations and apps, and we'll go over that at the very end of the video. That way you can see all the options that Calendly has that you'll be able to utilize. So going to go with location, we're going to be using Zoom because that's what the video we're using. So we got Zoom, where we don't have multiple locations. We just got the one. Then availability, when it asked you about your weekly work hours, if you put that in already, it's gonna populate right here. I just left it as 9 to 5. Date range. Date range is gonna be how far in advance do you want people to see on your calendar. I think this will really just play into the kind of work that you do. Do your appointments need to be a couple months in advance, or do they need to only be a couple weeks? For us, typically, we try to keep it about 2 days in advance. The reason why we do this is it gives you a little bit of time. Now, if you're on you want them to be able to book within an hour, you can absolutely do that. What I'm just showing you guys is the preference that we're doing it. 2 weekdays, we want that actually to be 14 days in advance. That's what we want that to be. The reason why is weekdays is just goes through your weekdays like Monday through Friday. So we want to make it 14 calendar days that they can see into the future on our schedule. So with that set up, if you have a customary hours that you want available for this, you can just click this right here, edit schedule, and you'll be able to exit out of these. You'll be able to edit these days. You're going to be able to copy and paste it if you need to put it somewhere else. If there's specific hours you want to adjust, you can add those right here. But if everything looks good to you, just hit cancel. It's where you're right in here. And this is all set up. If everything looks good, you can go down here to host, which of course the host is you. This would really only apply if you've got a team working with you. So if you're like paying for Calendly, because that's where this would come into play. If you had somebody else working with you, like an assistant maybe, that you want to have all of your first calls to be handled by, then you'd be able to click them from here because you'd already have them added to your host that can handle this. Now, once you're done here, if everything all looks good, go down to more options. The reason why you want to go to more options because there's more stuff on your discovery call or your link that you're going to want to make sure that you know about. The first one would be description. So tell people what to expect from this call. First time discovery call. And this will really just be us learning about them. So we can fit any kind of description, any information we want them to know about. That will be to where they know about it. Limits and buffers. So buffer time will be how long before and after a call do we want people to book with us? So let's say, okay, my call was 45 minutes, but I went over a little bit. Or I want to have a little bit of buffer time before somebody can book again on that same day, so we make it to where you've got about a 30-minute window. That's typically what we do. You don't really need any more unless you've got stuff that you do in between that you need to get done, just depending on what your preferences are and what your schedule looks like. You'll want to set it up this way. Max meetings, how many meetings do you want to do per day and per week? You can set that up right over here. But we want as many as we can get in that schedule because once it fills up, it's empty. Okay, once you're done with the buffer times, next will be your free business rules. So these are things that you want to make sure that when you're in your meetings, what are some meeting exceptions? What is the calendar that's connected to? If you've already done this, when you go into setting up your links, you'll be able to see what calendar is already connected, but you'll also be able to go through integrations to set that up. But my advice is always set that up prior to creating your link, because that way it'll make it a whole lot easier. You'll actually be able to see what exactly is available on your calendar. So then once that's done, we'll go to booking page options. So let's check out what are some of these options. So this is what the link's gonna look like. You can actually change that name if you want to. Typically, like right here, I want it to be It's Me through Way of Truth, which is the company I'm using this for. Discovery call, that's what it is. And then start in increments. We want them to increments of 60 minutes. So people are gonna be able to see when everything starts every hour. And then automatically, typically you want to leave it in automatic time zone for the time zone display. The reason why is that way everybody can see your available time slots in their own time zones. So like right now I'm in Central Time, so it's going to show Central Time for me. But if I was in another time zone like Eastern Time, it's going to show them Eastern Time Zone availability. Lock time zone would really only work if you're doing only in-person meetings. So if you are doing those, lock time zone, but typically you're just going to leave it at automatically. Invite form. So an invite form, this is a really cool one. If you want to get a head start on understanding what it is that they are doing. So we can actually set this up to where if we want what all information that we want from them, first name, last name, email, these are all the information that we can get from them when they're filling out this form for booking with us. Autofill, this is going to be when applicable to booking. It can say yes, they want reminders. If you want that check marked, you can. I typically will. If you want them to add guests, if it's just one, you really only want one person available, just check that off. That way they can't add somebody. This could be a paid event that you have people coming in and joining and booking, and you don't want them to add anybody to it. So if you do that way they can't add anybody to it. The only one who can add anybody to the event or to the meeting would be you. Any questions that you want to ask them? So this would be a really great way to get a head start as far as knowing what exactly they're looking for through this call. You can ask them questions. Please share anything that'll be helpful for our meeting. Multiple lines. This will be any of these. And here's a really cool one. Required. They have to fill this out. Typically, most people may not fill this out unless you make it a requirement. If you notice down at the bottom, they've got phone numbers, so you can actually ask them for the phone number, make it a requirement, and then that way they can answer that. And then we can say, please provide a cell number for, and there you go. Now it's not going to show the one question, it is going to show this part, and then it'll show that it's required. So that way you can get a phone number from them, because when you get down here to confirmation and workflow, you're going to be able to see that you can add that number. That number will be added to it to where you can actually get reminders from them. Now payment, if this is, like I hinted at earlier, if there is a portion of this where this is a paid meeting where you're getting paid to do this call with them, you can actually set it up, go to integrations, and I'll show you that at the end of the call to where you guys can see where exactly that you need to go to set that kind of up. But once that's set up, you'll be able to go in here and turn that on. Notifications and workflow. This is going to show what all is going to happen. So what to expect when people go in and book with you. So they get a calendar invitation immediately after they book. That's just automatically given. Since they're providing us an email, yes, we do want them to get an email reminder. We can actually go in and edit how often, how early we want them to get that. So here's what it's going to look like. We can actually see where it's all coming from. It's going to be coming from your email address, then the name of the event, our name, the event, and the event date. This will be the letter that we're sending to them. You can actually customize and change this. And this is where, if you're looking at these highlights, that's going to be variables. So when you're booking, just go through this and you can actually look and see when you're typing this out, some of the information that you'll have, you'll be able to fill in right here. So whatever they fill out in there, you'll be able to auto-populate it here. So it'll be just a matter of just playing around with it, how you want that to come across and how you want that to sound. Timing before event, 1 day before event is really good, because then they get a reminder the day before to where they know. You can add more reminders if you want, typically what we'll do is a day before, 2 hours before, and then they get a 30-minute reminder 30 minutes prior to the call, because we want to give them 3 opportunities. If they need to cancel, they can cancel. Status would be, if you turn this off, you're not going to have any of this available. But we've already got it. We know exactly what we want this to be. We'll hit cancel. And now that we're done here, we can also do text reminder. This is where, if you got that phone number, you'll be able to do this. Turn it on, hit edit. If we need any of these, what the edit needs to look like, what does the text number need to be. Typically what I have found is that if you get a phone number is easier for people to respond to than an email. They may not always check their emails, but they will check their phone because the phone is always on them at all times. So if you have the email and phone number, it's just 2 easy ways of reminders to where they've got it from either side, depending on which one they respond to the most. Follow up, if you want to have a follow-up email after the call, you can set that up, but we'll go in, if we turn it on, we can hit edit. And the cool thing is, all of this is customizable, so you don't have to use exactly the way that this is set up, but since it already is set up this way, we can leave it that way. But this is just for the example. You guys can mess with this, play with the variables to find out what best suits you and how you're going to be able to serve your clients. Confirmation page. This is going to be able to confirm after they're done booking, what all do we want them to do? Do we want them to just display a confirmation page? Do we want to direct them to a new website? We can. Also, we can also add links to the page. So we could actually do, if we have like a Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube channel we want them to check out, we have a website that we want them to check out, we can add all of that from here, and we can add multiple links from here. So if you've got links to your other social media, you're able to add those on here as well. And without further ado, once everything is set up, if everything looks good to you, you just hit save changes. And then if we want to say check out our link, we can hit preview. Well, this is preview right here. So this is all it. We just hit copy link, And then once we've copied the link, now we have our link. This is the one that we're going to be able to send to everybody when we book with it, when they book with us. Now, if you're wanting to find it, you lost it, just go in here, go up to event types, and here's your link right here. You just hit copy link and it's ready to go. Now, my advice to you is before you start sending that link out, check the link first. Always check your work before you send it out. So right here, here's the link. I just clicked it. It took me right where I wanted it to go. We're looking at these times that are available. I've already got an appointment scheduled for that morning because I had a 9 to 5 schedule. And so here's where everything is. I'm not doing an appointment after 5 p.m. So 4 is the last time they're going to be able to book with me. But everything is all blocked off that I'm not available for. If you go to Monday, now Thursday, I know I have a call right there, boom. And it's got those 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after. So after that call, I have a call at 1 o'clock, and I've got that 30-minute interval to where they can't book before and after that. And because I'm doing everything in hour intervals, everything starts on the hour instead of 3:30, 4:45. It's all going to start at the hour, on the hour, and end on the hour. So we're all set with that. Everything looks good to me. Go back in here. Now, we were talking about integrations. Just want to cover that really quick before we move on to Zoom. Just a couple of things I want to make sure that you guys know about for this. So integrations and apps. If you were saying, oh, well, I just kind of powered through the sign up, and I didn't really set anything up, can I still connect them? You absolutely can. So under integrations, you're able to go through each one of these, and Calendly is really good about walking you through step by step how to connect them. Typically, you can do it all from Calendly. Just knowing your information, like your email and your sign-in. That's why I advise you guys use your email that you used for Zoom and for Calendly. Let it be the same one. That way, it's a whole lot easier. It's a lot cleaner, and you'll get through this a whole lot faster. So with everything all set up, these are all the little integrations you can add. And as you can see, there are a ton that you can integrate with. And it's very easy to do. You just click on it, walk through the process, step-by-step process. You'll be able to do that. For payments, there's PayPal, Zapier, there's Stripe. So you're able to actually go through and use those. Any of your calendars, if you're a Google Calendar user, you can use that. Outlook, you're able to use. Zoom. See all these different options that you have that you'll be able to integrate into Zoom or into Calendly. All you have to do is just go through and do those. Lastly, on Calendly, before we move on, under meetings, this is going to be, so if any of your events are set up, so say somebody booked, you'll be able to see what that event is. You'll be able to see the link and everything through here. So you'll be able to actually look anything that's pending, past, or if you're looking for something that was from the past, any of that, you'll be able to see that. So without further ado, let's get into Zoom. So if you've already set up your Zoom account, just a few things. There's not really a lot that we're going to touch base on for Zoom because most of it really is you just want to have the Zoom account set up. If you are going to do the pro version, just make sure that you've signed in. You can manage your plans up here, but you'll be able to check all of your meetings. You'll be able to check them all down here as well and be able to click on the links for those calls that you've got set up through Calendly. They'll all be over here. So once you've got those ready to go, you do those. Or let's just say you want to schedule your own meeting through here. You can actually create a meeting through here. Just click schedule a meeting. I do want to go over this in here just in case you guys need to use that. But topic will be the title of the meeting. You'll be able to add that. Any description that you want to add. When is it going to be? What time is it going to be? Then how long is the meeting going to be? Typically, because this is the free version, it only allows for 40 minutes because you only get 40 minutes with your basic plan. Time zone, typically for us it's Central Time, but another thing too is it'll let them know what time zone they're in when you do that. You can invite them through here. I usually advise people to copy the link and send it personally because Zoom doesn't really send things through your email. They actually send it through a Zoom email, and that can always sometimes end up in spam. So make it a little bit easier. It's an extra step, but it only takes like a minute to do. So I advise people send it through yourself. That way you don't have to worry about it end up in their spam and they maybe never received it. if you're setting it that way. You can create your own templates in here if you choose to. That we'll do a video of that later in a later date. Because it's the free version, it is going to have a passcode, so when they get a Calendly link from you, it is going to provide a passcode, but you can bypass that if you have the pro version, in order to where they just have to get into a waiting room. You can let them in and they're set and ready to go. For this meeting chat, you can leave that on to where if there is any kind of communication, you guys need to be sending PDF files to each other, you need to be typing things up like phone numbers or anything that need to go into a chat on Zoom, you can do that. This is going to be for your cameras. Typically, we like to leave ours on. A lot of our calls, we want face-to-face, where you can see me, I can see you. It's a conversation between the two of us. So we usually ask that the cameras be on to where we can see each other. But if you guys are not comfortable with that and you're okay with everybody having their theirs off, you can do this and they will appear in the call with their cameras turned off, but you'll still be able to turn everything on later. Options, this is just anything that you need to know or anything that you want to have. You can approve or block specific regions. And then interpretation, if you need that, you can do that. But if all looks good, everything is as we need it to, we can hit save. And once we've hit save, there's our link with all of our information. We can add it to our calendar if we want to, but here's the invite link. We just hit copy, and then we just email that to our guest, and we're all set and done, ready to go. And you can also copy that link right here as well. And if you're ready to start the meeting, you just hit start and go. But since we're not really using this, we're just going to go ahead and delete this because we're not using it for that. But it will appear right here. You'll just be able to click on it and move forward. Lastly, last thing I want to show you guys before we end the video, under settings, and you're going to want to go over to meeting. The reason why is because I want to show you guys some basic things that you're going to want to know for your calls. So in basic meetings, some of the things that you're going to want to know, like chat, anything that you need to make sure that, like, let's say you're the only one who wants to be able to mess with chat, you want to save it for later, you can customize that to where you're the only one that gets that can save the chat from the meetings. That way you've got all of that set up. If you need to enable anything or delete anything, this is where you would go to enable that. In meeting advances, any kind of thing that you don't want happening or happening during your meetings is all going to be here. So just make sure that you're checking this beforehand. Virtual backgrounds, allow people to use a virtual background. Anything that you need will be through here. So just make sure you familiarize yourself with this before you go into the call. But I wanted to make sure you guys saw all of these options. Everything that you would need to know about, like, where to change everything is going to be right here in settings. It took me a minute to kind of find it when I first did it, so just want to make sure I share that with you guys, all these different options and where to actually find this. But that's going to be it for the video, everybody. Please like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any more questions in the comments, or shoot me an email at gavin@tmccoaching.org. I'd be happy to get in touch with you and help you walk through these. But without further ado, guys, get out there, create your links, get your Zoom calls rolling and flowing, and get those calls automated to where you guys are able to have people book without you having to be present in order to make the booking. They just got to click a link and go through it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's win together.